From Vaughn Field at Shakopee High School, it's time for high school football playoffs on North Metro TV. Blaine and Shakopee, the Bengals coming in the third seed in the section with a record of 5-4. The Shakopee Sabres, a record of 7-2. Shakopee will be kicking off right to left on your screens, wearing the black helmets, black jerseys, white pants, red lettering and numerals with white trim. And Blaine in their traditional navy blue helmets and pants with white lettering. It's a short kickoff fielded by Toby Huber at the 20-yard line. He cuts it back out to the 25, and that's where Blaine will start 1st and 10 here. From Vaughn Field down south in Shakopee, Sabres rolled to a 50-21 win over Park of Cottage Grove in round number 1 last week. And Blaine, a 14-13 win in overtime versus Totino Grace. So the Bengals will come out 1st and 10 with the football at the 25-yard line. Jordan Reynolds split to the near side, 3 receivers to the left of A.J. Call out of the shotgun. Call takes the first pass, flips it back, and they go with a trickeration, and they got a player wide open down the field, and they could not connect with Cole Schmidt, who got open. Frank Daniels in the game, so a little razzle-dazzle to start things here tonight for Blaine, but ultimately Cole Schmidt, it was an incomplete pass out of the reach of Cole Schmidt. So that brings up 2nd and 10 from the 25. Preston Myers, the tailback in there. Reynolds catches it at the 40. First down yardage. Call was nailed as he threw that football, but it's a completion out to the 43-yard line. And an 18-yard pickup on 2nd down. Reynolds just coming back to that football really nicely after Call's pass kind of floated up there. Reynolds turned, came back for it, and used that big 6'3", 210-pound frame to snag it. So the Bengals go to work 1st and 10 from their own 43. Play fake, throw on the screen. It's caught by Callan Tinson-Jenkins into Shakopee territory down to the 40-yard line. Another pitch and catch of 17 this time. It's down to the 39-yard line. So it's another pickup of 18. Call goes to work. Empty backfield this time. 5 receivers in the set. Call looks right, flushed. He'll step up and try to get first down yardage. He's twisted down at the 36, almost the 35-yard line. So it's a pickup of 3.5 on first down as Call tries to make something of nothing. Give him 4, make it 2nd and 6. Myers now joins Call in the backfield with 2 receivers right and left. Bengals marching on their opening drive after Shakopee won the toss and deferred to the second half. Send Myers in motion. Call rolling right, throwing, and he's just pitches it out of bounds. Right now, the defensive line for Shakopee has been in the Blaine backfield all this first drive. 2 for 4 for 36 yards on this opening drive for A.J. Call. But a big 3rd down right here. 3rd and 6 from the 36. Jacob Emslander goes in motion. Call takes the high snap, throws the slant to Reynolds, and it's a nice defensive play to knock it away from him. Well played by Andrew McCall to reach in there and bat it away. So now you're kind of in two straight incompletions, brings up 4th down. 4th and 6, they're going to go for it as they're out of field goal range. Schmidt, Reynolds, Emslander, and Tinson-Jenkins, the 4 receivers. Schmidt goes in motion. Call, back to pass. Throws down the seam, trying to hit Emslander, and he overshot him. He had him open, but overshot him. So 3 straight incompletions results in a turnover on downs, and the first possession for Blaine. And as a fan just noted, it's moving company time. The big offensive line for Shakopee jogs out there as the Sabres take over 1st and 10 from their 36-yard line after that turnover on downs. Jaden Hellerud, the lone setback as Leighton Kearns goes under center. It's a team that likes to run the football, so we'll see that a lot tonight. And on first down, Hellerud bursts through the middle for first down yardage out across the 45 up to the 47-yard line. Gain of 11 on first down for Hellerud. Hellerud comes in 218 carries, nearly 1,160 yards, so he's averaging about 129 yards a game. He's got 14 touchdowns. He is the best tailback that Blaine will have seen this year. He gets the call on second down between the tackles and gets it out to midfield, so more modest gain of just 3 on that carry. But especially on a windy and cold night with gusts expected to reach up to 40 miles per hour, Shakopee will do what they do and lean on that big offensive line led by Central Michigan recruit Martin Coivisto. Got it right there. Hellerud this time stacked up and driven back. So Blaine rallies to the football well that time. It's a loss of 2. And obviously, to stay in this football game, Blaine is going to have to stop the run. So it makes it 3rd down and 9 from just outside the Blaine territory. Hellerud again, the lone setback. Kearns under center. He's going to keep it himself this time. Jaden Grant tries to track him down from behind. He'll get tackled right at the marker, and we'll see where they spot him. That'll affect if this is a first down or not. Even if it's not, you would expect Shakopee to go for it. And it does appear they're gonna measure it. Kearns kept it himself and picked up right about 9 yards. So they're bringing out the chains for a measurement. They kind of went with the option, and Kearns ended up keeping it himself. Jaden Grant tried to tack him down from the backside, but couldn't quite catch up. And it's enough for a first down. So that pickup of 9 on 3rd and 9 moves the chains. And Shakopee with 2 rushing first downs on this drive already. 43-yard line of Blaine, the eye of the football. Pitch to the man in motion. Skips past one defender. Finally dragged down and tackled out there by Tyler Terry. As Chandler Ross Jr., 36 carries, 418 yards and 5 touchdowns, gets his first rush. Gain of 9 on down to the 34-yard line. And you can feel those gusts of wind really picking up. Second and 1. Turn and give to Hellerud. He's got first down yardage in a big hole. Out near the 20, down, and finally tackled in the open field. As Jackson Braun makes the stop, but not before Hellerud gets it down to the 21 and a gain of 13. Another first down. 4 carries, 25 yards now for Hellerud on this opening drive. 6:54 and counting to go, first quarter. Scoreless. Shakopee driving with its first turn with the football. Hellerud will act as lead blocker here, and Emslander comes down and makes the stop, but not before they get it into the red zone. Little quarterback keeper for Kearns around right end. Picks up 2 down to the 19. Bengals defense has had a habit of bending but not breaking this season. They're certainly hoping to do that here. Nick Catonia split out wide. And that time, Kearns again with the keeper down to the 18, or 17, I guess, 2 yards. Jordan Gresseth on the stop. So, for the Sabres, that brings up 3rd and 6 from the 17-yard line. Hellerud, the lone setback. Ross goes in motion. He'll take the pitch coming left. Chandler Ross lowers the shoulder, dragging a defender down inside the 10 to the 6-yard line. And they move the chains with an 11-yard pickup on 3rd down. Jackson Braun, the one that got dragged, but ultimately the physicality of this rushing game for Shakopee is evident on this first drive. Ross is a threat coming off that right end, taking that pitch. So it sets up 1st and goal at the 6-yard line for Shakopee. Turn, give to Hellerud, and he backs his way to the goal line. He's going to be just short. He tried to spin out of the arms of Henry Morris, but Morris pulled him down about a half-yard short of the goal line. Second and goal from the 1. 5 carries, 30 yards on this opening drive. Hellerud skies over for the touchdown. He went airborne, reached over the goal line, and Shakopee strikes first tonight. Owen Forsyth and on to attempt the extra point. And he manages to split the uprights for Shakopee. So the Sabres, with 4:33 to go, first quarter, have a 7-0 lead over Blaine. Bengals drove it down to the 36 in their first drive before they turned it over on downs, and so hopefully they are hoping to reverse things. Hoping to continue the drive and not have it stall out in this on their second possession. Tyler Terry and Toby Huber back deep to receive this kickoff for Blaine. It's a short kickoff. Huber will take it from his own 12-yard line. He's already returned one this year. He hops over a man and then is buried at the 28-yard line, 27-28, and that's where Blaine will start their second drive of the game. Jake Howard makes the stop for the Sabres on special teams. 16-yard return as the Bengals take over 1st and 10 from the 28. Have not run it yet, all passing on that first drive. Call takes and gives to Preston Myers up the gut. Myers out across the 30 to the 32, so a gain of 4. Blaine typically is a pretty balanced offense, but they were all pass on that first one. Call ran it once, and then it was 6 passes otherwise. Call 2 for 6 for 36 yards. 2nd and 6 from the 32. 3:57 and counting to go, first quarter. Play fake on the slant. Just a little hitch, actually. Right at the stick. The catch is made by Cole Schmidt. He's going to be slightly short of the first down. Call a gain of 5. Makes it 3rd down. They go quickly, and Myers gets first down yardage out across the 40 up to the 45. So Myers picks up 8 on that carry. And now, sometimes they do this, as Nick Katona, who just recently started playing safety for Shakopee, an excellent basketball player, who is also one of their best wide receivers. Blaine has it 1st and 10 from the 45 after they picked up that rushing first down. Call gets it, and Myers again finding room to run out across midfield into Shakopee territory. Nice little chunk of 7 for Preston Myers. 3 carries for 19 yards on this drive so far. Makes it 2nd and 8 from the 48. Bengals again moving the football on this Shakopee defense, but ultimately have to be able to cash in with points. High snap, give to Myers in between the tackles. He skips past a defender. First down yardage down to the 41-yard line. So again, little pickup of 7. First and 10 now at the 41 of Shakopee. Empty set this time for Blaine. Myers in the slot to the right of Call. Throwing right, he hits Myers on the hitch, gets out of a tackle, makes another man miss. It's finally tracked down from behind, inside the 30, down to the 28-yard line. So a pickup of 13. On that little pitch and catch, and again, move the chains. Call 4 for 8 for 54 yards. First and 10 from the 28-yard line. 1:09 left to go in the first quarter. Blaine not really huddling, but also not exactly hurrying when they get to the line. But they can go with a hurry-up offense. They like to do that sometimes. Call gives it again, and again up the middle. Myers finding room to run. 5 yards again down to the 23. .20 seconds left, so should be the final play of the quarter. Send Schmidt in motion, pistol formation for the Bengals. Turn and pitch to Myers, running left. Myers with a hole. Myers dragged down near the 10-yard line. Another first down for Blaine. Move the chains once more, down to the 13. And that indeed will be the final play of the first quarter. So the Bengals will have it 1st and 10 at the 13-yard line. When we come back after 1 quarter of play, it's Shakopee 7, Blaine nothing here on North Metro TV.
Share new perspectives with North Metro TV. Capture breathtaking cinematic images. Business exteriors, scenic landscapes, sporting events, or community images. With a professional videographer at the controls, North Metro TV will tailor a package for your budget. For high-quality photo and video aerials, contact North Metro TV.
Back here at Vaughn Field in Shakopee, Bill Hupp for North Metro TV. Start of the second quarter, Bengals have it 1st and 10 from the Shakopee 13-yard line, trailing 7-0. Myers on the carry between the tackles, nearly steps out of an ankle tackle, but he's dragged down and tripped up at the 7-yard line. Myers already in this first quarter, really on this drive, 7 carries for 47 yards. 7 for 47. 2nd and 4 coming up from the 7-yard line. Fast-moving first quarter. Myers again up the middle. This time he's stacked up and driven down after just a gain of 2. But yeah, if it ain't broke, why fix it? And they have carved up the Shakopee defense. Gains of 8, 7, 7, 5, 10. All on the ground here on this drive. Big third down coming up here, though, for the Bengals. 3rd and 2 now from the 5. Myers this time to the left of A.J. Call out of the shotgun. Call takes it. He's going to keep it himself. He's hit. It's going to be close. He falls down maybe a half yard shy of the first down marker. As that hole was closed up pretty quickly on A.J. Call. Fourth and half a yard coming up now for Blaine. A big spot right here. Already trailing 7-0. They could kick the field goal, but I think you're going to want to score points against this explosive Shakopee team. And you've got Preston Myers in the backfield as well. 4th and half a yard.
I didn't know that the team voted. That's what I heard. That's cool. I mean, I hear you.
Looking to the sidelines. We'll see if on 4th down, I want to see if Mike Law just takes a timeout here. Waits for the play clock to run down and then takes time. And that's indeed what happens. Mike Law calls timeout before the play clock runs out. Talk about what is a big 4th down coming up. Ball's on the 4, the 3.5. They need to reach the 3. I would think that going for it would be the smart decision here, just because you are facing a team that can move the football and that has put up points all season. I mean, this Shakopee Sabres team is rushing for 332 yards a game. Even without their dynamic quarterback, Dominic Jackson, who was injured in a game at Edina halfway through the season, they're still averaging 35.6 points a game. So this is a team that has put up big offensive numbers all season, and one that you need to keep pace with. They are indeed going to go for it early in this second quarter. Snap, turn, give to Myers, up the gut for the touchdown! Preston Myers on 4th down, runs it in from 4 yards out, and the Bengals are an extra point away from tying this game. Kendall Stadden on to attempt the extra point. Stadden 13 of 14 extra points this year. Of course, her extra point in overtime last week won the game for Blaine, and she boots it through here to tie this game at 7. 9:21 to go before half. Blaine and Shakopee all square at 7. An impressive drive from Blaine, who took it from their own 28, marched it down 72 yards methodically, most of the damage coming on the ground. So the 2 possessions, a touchdown and a turnover on downs, and then a touchdown for Blaine. So Bengals responding impressively. 7-all our score. Ryan Schweiger has it teed up at the 40-yard line. Taken from the 8-yard line and brought out. Bouncing it back, making good yardage on the return out to the 30-yard line. Aaron Lee returns it to the 30, and that's where Shakopee will start their second drive of the game. I mean, it's 9:11 to go in the second quarter, and Shakopee has had the football once. Oh, Charleston chew down. Thanks to our gracious hosts here at Shakopee at Vaughn Field, sharing the press box on a windy night. Kearns goes under center with Hellerud in the backfield. He gets the call and charges forward for 4 out to the 34. Jaden Hellerud on that first drive, 6 carries, 31 yards, and a touchdown. Second and 6 from the 34. Kearns turns, pitches, and are we going to have our first penalty flag of the game? Offside on the Bengals. After a very cleanly played first quarter with no penalties and no turnovers, the Bengals commit the first infraction. So it moves it out to the 39, makes it 2nd and 1 for Shakopee. Grant, Huber, Emslander. The strength of this Blaine defense. Up the middle, big hole out inside Blaine territory, and a nice run by Elijah Sandridge down to the 48-yard line. So a good pickup of 13 on that run by Sandridge. The rushing first downs piling up in this first quarter in this first half for Shakopee. Kearns keeps it, skips over one tackler. Finally, Gresseth tackles him down at the 44-yard line, so a gain of 4. Jordan Gresseth makes the stop. Kearns 4 carries for 17 yards. 7:30 to go first half. 7-all, but Shakopee driving on their second possession. This is going to be an offense that's they're going to need to get some stops. Turn and give to Hellerud up the gut. Hellerud breaking tackles into the second level down to the 33. Hellerud with a nice pickup of 13. His best run of the day. Moves the chains for the Sabres. Hellerud takes off the hand warmer or whatever it was. Gets the carry again, and the big Sabres wrestler is tackled down after just a gain of 2 this time. He's halfway to 100 on only 9 carries. Hellerud, a great wrestler, as is Jade Trellstad. Another senior, a very senior, big and senior-laden offensive line. Trellstad, the heavyweight for this state champion Shakopee wrestling team. 2nd and 8 from the 31. And this time, I think it may be false start on Shakopee. All things considered, it's not a bad night weather-wise for early November. Playoff time can be dicey. Certainly called games in the snow at this time of year. Definitely windy, though, so Shakopee, with their power running game, should favor them this time of year. Kearns goes under center. Fakes the pitch to Ross Jr., rolls right. He's going to tuck it, cut back against the grain. He makes some positive yardage down to the 29-yard line. He's going to set up a 3rd and 7. Down to the 30, so a pickup of 7 on that play. 3rd and 7 from the 30-yard line. Tight formation, pitch to Ross Jr. coming left. And he reaches for the first down yardage, but he's going to stop short. The 25. Blaine defense rallying to the football and stopping him up after a pickup of 5. Jacob Emslander on the stop. Spot it down at the 25, 4th down and 2 coming up. So the Bengals could really flip momentum if they can get a stop here. 4:30 and counting to go before half. Shakopee driving on their second possession of the game. Give to Hellerud. He's going to be close. It'll depend on the spot. Thought I saw a flag for a second, but it's a yellow leaf. It's the risks of fall football. Blaine certainly thinks they got the stop, but it's going to be a measurement. Oh, this is close. Second measurement of the game already. Stretching the chains, and Blaine forces the turnover on downs. Bengals sideline erupts in joy. It was the nose of the football was the difference. So after Blaine forces a turnover on, turns the ball over on downs on their first possession, they force the turnover on downs on their second possession. And the longer they stay in this football game, the more they will believe they have a chance of springing an upset. They've got 4:25 left in the second quarter, 4:25 to work with, and 2 timeouts, 7 all. Football at the 23-yard line. We've already passed it 8 times in this game. Call, first down, goes to the ground for Myers, and he's tackled for no gain. How about this? Preston Myers, 10 carries, 53 yards, and a touchdown. Jaden Hellerud, 10 carries, 52 yards, and a touchdown. So nearly identical numbers from the team's leading tailbacks. Clock continues to run inside, 4 minutes to go before half. Call takes the snap, drops back, loads up, looking for Schmidt. He's got him at the 45. A big connection down to the 47, a gain of 24 to Cole Schmidt. A big gain down to the 48-yard line, gets them out of the shadow, gets them some breathing room anyway. 5th passing first down of the first half. On the run, Myers just one out to the 49. This has to be one of the better first halves that Blaine has played this season. They have come to play tonight in the second round. The winner of this game to face the winner of Lakeville South and Anoka. So very likely the winner of this game to go play Lakeville South at Stillwater in the state quarterfinals. High snap juggled. They get it to Myers finally, and he's able to get positive yards down to the 48. Call did well to handle that high snap. Blaine hurt itself last week with 3 turnovers in Totino Grace territory, but they've taken care of the ball tonight. Owen Dede on the stop. 2:20 and counting. You know Blaine wants to just get some points on the board, but certainly keep this football for the rest of the half. Send Huber out wide. Now Huber will come back. Three-step drop. Call evades pressure, rolling right. He throws, and it's out of play. He did well to get rid of that football as he was being hounded by the Sabres defense. Penalty marker down, stops the clock with 1:53 to go second quarter. Big third down coming up for the Bengals. Personal foul on Shakopee. So that's a big horse collar tackle on Shakopee. Moves the football down to the 33-yard line. 2 penalties for 20 yards in this first half for the Sabres. So Blaine, 1st and 10 now from the 33 of Shakopee. Haven't even had to use either of their 2 timeouts yet. Call turns and pitches to Myers. He brings it back middle and manages to pick up 3 down to the 30. So after coming out throwing, they've gone to the ground, and now Myers has 13 carries for 60 yards and a touchdown these last 2 drives. 2nd and 7 from the 30. Clock runs with 1:25 to go. Call. Quick throw. Finds Callan Tinson Jenkins. And they'll have first down yardage down to the 21. So a quick hitter for 9. Indeed, Lakeville South on top of Anoka 23-0. So it's looking like Lakeville South. First and 10 from the 21. Myers evades a tackle, gets down to the 16. So a gain of 5. And now Blaine will take a timeout with 45 seconds left. They're certainly within field goal range at this point. Blaine turned it over on downs on their first possession, and they scored a touchdown on their second. Shakopee will get the football to start the second half, so that's something to keep in mind. Sabres, meanwhile, scored a touchdown on their first drive, and they turned it over on downs on their second drive. They have yet to attempt a pass. Bengals got 2nd and 5 coming up from the 16. How about the first half for Preston Myers? 14 carries, 65 yards, and a touchdown. Call, play fake to Myers. Looking right, throwing for Reynolds, and it's just out of his reach. He tried to hit Jordan Reynolds on the sluggo, the slant and go, but just overshot his man by a couple yards. So that stops the clock with 39 seconds left, first half. Brings up 3rd and 5 from the 16. And if nothing else, they'd love to get it a little closer for a field goal. Call out of the backfield, and they had him open on the wheel route, but Preston Myers, actually that's Cole Schmidt, I believe, who's the intended receiver. He fell down, slipped on the turf out there. So that means it's field goal time. Ryan Schweiger on to attempt the field goal. He's got the bigger leg of the two kickers. Stadden is more of an accuracy kicker. So Schweigert in to attempt the 33-yard field goal from the middle of the field to give Blaine the lead before half. Snap is down, kick on the way. It's got enough, and it's good. Ryan Schweiger splits the uprights with 34 seconds to go before half and gives Blaine a 10-7 lead over Shakopee. Wanted to wait for the official signal before I called it. So Blaine on the road, 10-7, they lead it. And unless something disastrous happens, we'll go into the halftime locker room with the lead. So the Bengals special teams coming up big once more. They're good for a field goal and basically every extra point and a field goal or two every game, seemingly. Schweigert with the ball teed up at his own 40-yard line. Again, Sabres will receive the football to start the second half. And he's just going to pooch it, trying to get it to stop. Picked up at the 20-yard line. And the Bengals rally and make the tackle shy of the 30. 27 seconds left. The Sabres do have all three of their timeouts, but they're obviously not a very aggressive passing team, so not sure if they'll just run Hellerud once or twice or decide to take a knee or what, but Bengals with a very effective, they've scored on 2 of their last 3 drives, the 2 straight drives that have resulted in points. And these are drives that started, they drove down the length of the field. It hasn't been field position. Sabres have it at their own 29-yard line. And, yep, just like I thought, they and now Shakopee wants to take a timeout. Didn't do the victory formation correctly or something. But update some scores from around the metro area while we have a minute. Fridley on top of Columbia Heights, 28-0. Hutchinson, 16-6 over Faribault. St. Thomas Academy, 7-0 over Hastings. Lakeville North and Eden Prairie tied at 7. Farmington on top of Minnetonka, 7-0. Maple Grove on top of Eastridge, 14-7. Woodbury leading Rosemount, 10-3. Wayzata leading Stillwater, 7-0. Slakeville South, last we checked, 23-0. Should be just time for 1 or 2 plays. Oh, and Chandler Ross Jr. rips off a big run. The Wildcat, Chandler Ross Jr. will pick up 31 on that carry down to the 40. Clock stops there to move the chains with 15.7 seconds left. Shakopee's got its own field goal kicker. Again, Ross Jr. This time Blaine's prepared for it, just to gain a 3. He has been tough for the Bengals to stop tonight. A gain of 31. Ross Jr., 5 carries for 59 yards in this first half after that 31-yard scamper. Clock is stopped with 11.2 seconds left, just a timeout each remaining. And now you've got the field goal kicker, Owen Forsyth, for Shakopee, warming up in anticipation of a potential game-tying boot here just before half. Ball's at the 37-yard line. We'll see if they just keep going with that. Indeed, Ross Jr. out there in the Wildcat formation. And this time it's Hellerud who takes the snap. He winds up, lofts the right side, and it's overthrown. He was looking for Katona, and he showed some pretty good. I saw him throwing on the sideline before, and it looked like he could throw it. But not a bad call at all by Ray Betton in his 6th season, the former Holy Angels coach. He's done a remarkable job with this Shakopee program, turning it into one of the powers of the South Suburbs. He'll use his last timeout with 5.1 seconds to go before half. And probably just one more play to run. They took a shot at the end zone, though. Blaine had it covered, but it was overthrown anyway. Bengals trying to be prepared for anything. The hook and ladder. Anything is possible. with 6.1 seconds left. Make that 5.1 seconds. 3rd and 8 from the 38. Jackson Braun way off the line of scrimmage out there. Hellerud in there, ready to get the direct snap out of the Wildcat, and this time, is it going to be Blaine that takes the timeout? It is. So the Bengals used their last timeout. That stopped the clock with 3.8 seconds left. Obviously seen something they didn't like. You can't take them with you, so why not? They did change it back to 5.1, not 51. There you go, 5.1. Because it was a pre-snap timeout. So Mike Law talking things over with his Bengals as the final play of the first half. Bengals student section coming alive on the far side. Turn and give, a little inside handoff, and time has expired. Blaine gets a 33-yard field goal with 45 seconds to go before half, and they head to the halftime break with a 10-7 lead on the road here over the 2-seed Shakopee. We'll be back with second half action in a moment here on North Metro TV.
STEM is precise, no margin for error.
Dare to forget that. Dare to have fun with it. Get weird with it. Dare to send those old STEM theories flying past the neighbor's house into outer space. Dare to program something internet-breaking, record-breaking. Dare to blow their minds. Dare to learn the difference between sedimentary and metamorphic rock. Go find those rocks. Dare to keep daring. Dare to STEM. Check out She Can STEM to get started.
Hi, everyone. Al Roker here. As a guy with his own catchphrase, I appreciate that Smokey's only said,
"Only you can prevent wildfires."
But I'm filling in because there's a lot more to report. Like when there are parched or windy conditions out there, you gotta be extra careful with things like burning yard waste. After all, wildfires can start anywhere, even in your neck of the woods. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Back here at Vaughn Field in Shakopee, Bill Hupp for North Metro TV. Halftime up at St. Michael, Albertville. 28-14, Centennial on top. Cougars get the ball to start the second half. Gave up a late touchdown. They were leading 28-7 at one point. Here, Bengals lead at 10-7 over Shakopee. As we get set to start the second half, Blaine will kick off to Shakopee. Scoring in that first half in the first quarter with 4:33 left. Tailback Jaden Hellerud plunged in from a yard out, or really skied in from a yard out, soared in. The kick was good to make it 7-0 Shakopee. Then with 9:21 to go in the second quarter, Preston Myers took it in from 4 yards out, and the kick by Kendall Stadden tied the game at 7. Blaine got a huge turnover on downs to turn away Shakopee before they got to the red zone in the second quarter, and then they marched it down. They were eventually stopped at the 16, but Ryan Schweiger came on and booted a 33-yard field goal to give the Bengals the lead with 45 seconds to go in the second quarter, and that's how we stand at 10-7 after one half of play. So the Bengals, the 3 seed, the decided underdogs at 5-4 coming into this game, playing the 7-2 Shakopee Sabres, who got up at one point to number 2 in the state. Sabres this season only losing to Lakeville South and Eden Prairie. So, very impressive first half of football for Blaine. And the biggest thing is they had one penalty and didn't turn the football over. So, Blaine took advantage of its good special teams and also played very disciplined, mistake-free football. Moved the ball on offense on all three of their drives. Two of those drives resulted in points. Ryan Schweiger has it teed up at the 40-yard line as we get set to start the second half here in Shakopee. Bengals lead by 3 as we're underway, end-over-end kick. Taken back at the 2. Returned by Lee out past the 20. Finally, Emslander and others make the stop at the 25. Jaden Hellerud in the first half, 10 carries, 52 yards, and a touchdown. They were actually led in rushing by Chandler Ross Jr., 5 carries for 59 yards. We'll see if they go to more of that wildcat look that was successful on that last possession. And sure enough, call me Nostradamus because they are in that look to start. Ross and Hellerud in the backfield. Snap to Ross. He'll follow the blocking of Hellerud. Big hole. Ross breaking tackles. He's got first down yardage, a big run out to the 38-yard line. On first down, a gain of 13. 6 carries, 72 yards for Chandler Ross Jr. And meanwhile, we've got a Blaine Bengal shaken up. It's Jackson Braun down on the field. And talking to some people in the press box during halftime, Chandler Ross Jr. had a high ankle sprain that he was dealing with during the season, in the early part of the season. But I'm not sure you have a much, other than, I mean, maybe Wyzetta. Wyzetta's got a good 2 tailbacks, but can't imagine there's many better than Hellerud and Ross Jr. as a combination of tailbacks. Braun still being tended to on the field. Wind really whipping here at Vaughn Field. And now Braun able to jog off. It's not bad temperature-wise. Low 50s tonight, but winds gusting up to 40 miles an hour. Football on the near hash of the 38-yard line. Again, tight formation. Ross Jr., Hellerud gets the snap on the Wildcat. He'll follow Ross Jr., and Shakopee able to just pick up bunches of yards as Hellerud out to the 45, a pickup of 7. It's pretty tough with either Ross Jr. or Hellerud leading the way, sort of acting as a fullback, and Sabres able to just follow the blocks. And Hellerud obviously showed he could throw it with that pass attempt, so there's always that threat of the pass. Hellerud takes the low snap, following the blocking of Ross. Henry Morris in on the stop, but they get inside of Blaine territory, or right to midfield, I should say. Gain of 5 and another rushing first down. So they are moving the football. Ball resting at midfield, just beneath the Sabres logo. This time Ross gets the direct snap, kind of jukes his way through, bursts through a hole into the second level. Braun is back in, he makes the stop, but not before another gain of 14 and a first down. Stops the football and stops the clock, but they're moving the ball with confidence on this opening drive. Low snap, Ross takes it, just following his lead blockers, and they're just getting 6, 7 yards, 10 yards a crack right now. Eight carries for 93 yards, 2nd and 3 from the 29. This change in strategy, which has just made all the difference. Hellerud again follows his lead blocker. Another first down, dragging defenders near the red zone down to the 22. Henry Morris makes the stop in the second level. Third rushing first down of this drive. Drive that started back at the 28. Hellerud coming flying in off the edge. Luke Studer makes the stop. Hellerud down for 3. Now we've got an injured Bengal on the field, and that's not sure if that's might be Jacob Emslander. Emslander, the leading sack getter, and big rusher off the edge. Stops the clock with 8:58 left, 2nd and 7. Ball is on the 19-yard line of Blaine. This drive started back at the 28-yard line. Mike Law out there. And Emslander, they're going to have a couple teammates come out and help him get helped off the field, it looks like. But obviously tough to put much support on that right leg. Emslander, one of the key defensive linemen for this Blaine team, so Bengals getting banged up on this drive. He dealt with a little bit of an injury last week in the win over Totino Grace. So we'll see if he is able to return tonight, but that obviously that hurts the depth of the Bengals. Shakopee just chewing up yards on this drive on the ground. We've got an extra offensive lineman in there, and Ross just follows his blockers. Again, near first down yardage, down to the 11. Another first down. Move the chains once more. With that carry, Ross now over 100 yards, 9 carries, 101 yards. And again, Ethan Vaughn in there as an extra offensive lineman. Up the gut, Hellerud to the goal line. Nope, stop short. Hellerud stopped short. It might be enough for a first down anyway. Stopped at the half-yard line, so give him 11 on that carry. First and goal from the half-yard line. Shakopee knocking on the doorstep with 8:19 to go, third quarter. Hellerud takes the snap, reaches over, and once again Superman's into the end zone for the touchdown. The second time tonight that Jaden Hellerud has skied over the defensive line for a touchdown. 16 carries, 86 yards, and 2 scores now tonight for Jaden Hellerud. Shakopee well over 200 yards of rushing now as Forsyth on to attempt the extra point. And he missed it, no good. And with the Bengals field goal kicking prowess, that could be big as Shakopee has a 13-10 lead. We'll see if that ends up coming back to matter. But in the third quarter, 8:12 to go. Sabres take the opening drive, march right down, and Hellerud plunges in from a yard out to give Shakopee the lead once more, 13-10. Blaine has been able to move the football, so I think the more interesting thing is what kind of defensive adjustments has Shakopee made during halftime, if any. Jaden Hellerud with 34 yards on that drive alone. Toby Huber and Tyler Terry back deep to receive this kick for Blaine. Terry will take it at his own 15. Skips past a man, spins away from another, and he'll be wrestled down out near the 25-yard line. So Blaine goes to work, 1st and 10 at the 24. 8:09 to go, third quarter. And we'll see if Blaine can respond with a clock-chewing, methodical drive of their own. They were able to move the ball each of their first 3 drives of the first half. There are only 3 drives today. Turned it over on downs in Shakopee territory and then got a touchdown and a field goal. Play fake, throwing long, looking for Kinson Jenkins through his hands and incomplete. Kinson Jenkins had a step, but just could not haul it in, so. Call 6 of 11 now for 89 yards. Give to Myers up the middle. Myers tackled after he breaks a couple out to the 29. So give him 5 on that run. Josh Megan, who's going to walk on at NDSU next year, makes the stop. Makes it 3rd and 5. Myers, 15 carries, 70 yards, and a touchdown. 3rd and 5 from the 29. Bengals do not want to go 3 and out on their first possession of the second half. Call, 3-step drop, looking right, swarmed under, he's going to be sacked. The ball's loose, Shakopee says they have it. No signal yet, they're trying to unpile the players, and they do. Bengals, A.J. Call, the strip sack gets tackled, turns it over at the 25-yard line, and Sabres take over 1st and 10. And we talked about at halftime how Blaine had played mistake-free football and taken care of the ball. But right there, the strip sack on 3rd down gives the ball back to Shakopee in Blaine territory. And they're going to go right back to the Wildcat and what worked. And why not? That was very effective, their last drive. Hellerud and Ross Jr. in the backfield. Snap to Ross Jr. It gives on the sweep, cutting it back upfield and taking it north-south for 3. Eliza Sedgwick. Jack Johnson makes the stop after a pickup of 3. Turnovers are critical, and right there, Blaine turned it over at an inopportune time. Direct snap to Hellerud. He follows his blockers. Stiff arms a man. That's not Hellerud either. That is Wansley on the carry. Jonathan Wamsley gets it down to the 13-yard line, so a nice gain for him. They just picking running backs off trees around here. This time it's Ross Jr. and Hellerud. Hellerud takes the low snap. It's on the ground. Sedgwick somehow grabs it, and the Bengals able to tackle him in the backfield for a loss of 2. Back to the 16-yard line. So low snap hurts the Sabres there. Moves it back to the 17-yard line with 6 minutes to go. So we're midway through the third quarter. It's been all Sabres in this third quarter. Still going with that Wildcat look. Ross Jr. leads as Hellerud in a nice tackle in the open field. Ecker on the stop, Gavin Ecker. After that gain of 2. So a big third down here, 3rd and 11 from the 15-yard line. Bengals need a stop. Need to force a field goal if nothing else. Ross Jr. takes the direct snap, and he's tracked down from behind. Jordan Gresseth makes the stop. Gresseth tackles him after a gain of just 3. Brings up 4th down for Shakopee. Decision time now. Ball's at the 12. Certainly looks like they're going to go for it. And I guess why not? You've got Blaine pinned deep even if you don't convert it. 4th and 8 from the 12-yard line. 4:40 and counting left in the third. Snap back to Hellerud, play fake, he rolls it to his right. Gresseth chasing, throwing to the end zone, and it's knocked away. Braun and Adam Anderson on the play defending for Blaine, and the Bengals, the turnover ultimately doesn't hurt them as they're able to force the turnover on downs. Shakopee going for it on 4th, not a bad play call, but Blaine was wise to it. Gresseth was chasing. He forced the throw, and Hellerud's pass was ultimately batted away. So the Bengals take over with it 1st and 10 at their own 12-yard line. Trying to take a little better care of the ball on this drive. It is a cold and windy night, but they've been able to throw it a little bit. Shakopee giving up 101 yards of passing a game coming in. Call, play fake, over the middle for Tinson Jenkins. He has him out across the 25, out to the 27, a pitch and catch of 15. Nick Katona makes the stop. Call over 100 yards of passing now. Tinson Jenkins has been his favorite target tonight. Call takes the snap, play fake up the middle for Myers. He stiff arms a man, and ultimately the tackle is made down at the 34-yard line, stopped by Owen Deedy. But not before a gain of 7 by Myers. 16 carries, 77 yards and a touchdown. Bengals trailing by 3 late here, third quarter. The winner to take on Lakeville South next week at Stillwater. Call, play fake, throws near side for Schmidt. He makes the catch down the sideline, and he's absolutely hammered out of bounds, but not before he picks up a first down. Out to the 44-yard line, a gain of 10. Move the chains once more. They're giving him some simple passes to complete. Schmidt now 3 catches, 39 yards. So from the 44, a couple first downs through the air. Bobbled, Call throws it away wisely before any damage was done. His handoff was initially bobbled, but ultimately Jacob Rude forced the errant pass. He was intended for Tinson Jenkins, and smart just to get rid of it. Unofficially, Call 8 for 14 for 114 yards. 2nd and 10 now from their own 44. 2 receivers left, 3 to the right. Empty backfield here for Blaine. Call looking right, throwing, and it's bobbled and nearly intercepted. Really well read on the play. I believe that was Jackson Ungar who read that. Beg your pardon, Tremaine Fulton Jr., the one who read that and broke it up. So now 3rd down once more for the Bengals. Third and 10. 3:02 left. Call back to pass. He's flushed. He throws it. It's a leaping, and it's intercepted. It was off the hands of Donovan Torgerson. Shakopee returning the football all the way down to the Blaine 31-yard line. And the 2nd consecutive turnover on 3rd down for the Bengals ends a drive. Or I should say a turnover on 3rd down ends the 2nd consecutive drive for Blaine. Call threw it up. Torgerson leapt, tried to make the catch, but ultimately that tipped off his hands. It was intercepted and brought back to the 31. So a big return of about 25 yards or so. And again, Shakopee takes over with excellent field position. 2 straight drives in the second half, resulting in turnovers for Blaine. Chandler Ross on the Wildcat. Again, Luke Studer makes the stop after the pickup of 5. Two possessions in this 3rd quarter after such a big stop by Blaine. And although they've moved the football tonight, their last 2 drives have resulted in turnovers. 13th interception of the season for Call. High snap, give to Sedgwick. Bounces it outside. He's got room to run. Beckman chasing him. Sedgwick to the end zone. Touchdown, Shakopee. Eliza Sandridge, the senior, houses it from 26 yards. Shakopee, an extra point away from equaling their 10-point output in the first half. Or they had 7 actually at half, and they are on the verge of the coaching staff's upset about something. Forsyth in for the extra point. Joe Beckman tried to track Eli Sedgwick down. He managed to kick the extra point that time, so Forsyth, after missing the last extra point, gets that. So Shakopee, 2 touchdowns in this 3rd quarter, and after a mistake-free terrific first half of football. Blaine finds itself on its heels, trailing 20-10 here late third quarter. Shakopee struck first. Blaine scored 10 unanswered. Now Shakopee has scored all 13 of the second half, and they have a 20-10 lead. They're doubling up the Bengals as Terry and Huber await the kick. It's a low line drive kick. Snagged at the 20. Big return. Preston Myers into the open field, and he's finally tracked down by the kicker inside of Shakopee territory at the 49. They kicked it to the starting running back, and Preston Myers in open field ripped off a big return of 25 yards down to the 49 of Shakopee. So the Bengals, despite being thoroughly outplayed here in this third quarter, do start with their best field position of the day. We'll try to get back some of that offensive mojo they had in the first half. Send Schmidt in motion, give to Myers, nothing doing.
Preston Myers, the ball carrier, stopped short. Number 55,
Owen Dede steamed in and made the stop, a loss of 3.
second down from the Bengals, 48-yard line.
From the Bengals to the Bengals' 48-yard line. He came in unblocked and dragged Myers down. Sabres showing blitz, now backing off on 2nd and 13. Call, rolling short side, throwing, looking for Reynolds, and he's way out of bounds. They haven't targeted Jordan Reynolds much tonight despite his size advantage. First pass of the game was complete to him, but after that, there hasn't been much. And after starting 6 for 10, now Call is just 8 for 16 for 114 yards. 3rd and 13 from the 48 rather. A minute 12 to go in the third. Call, play fake, throwing on the seam to Reynolds. It's a low throw, but he catches it. Manages to haul it in at the 41-yard line. So it makes it a very manageable 4th down as we're under a minute to go in the third. Pickup of 11 on that throw. Turn and give to Myers through the hole. Steps out of a tackle, spins out of another tackle, and finally he's stopped up at the 31, but a nice gain of 10 on 4th and 2. Preston Myers hard running between the tackles. Moves the chains for the Blaine, for the Bengals. And that was all set up by the nice gainer on 3rd down to Reynolds. So now they go to work 1st and 10 from the 31. Last play of the third quarter. Nope, they'll just let it wind down. So Blaine will have it 1st and 10 at the Shakopee 31 when we return after 3 quarters of play. Sabres lead the Bengals 20-10 here in the Class 6A second round on North Metro TV.
There is the therapeutic aspect of music, just expressing how you feel.
Kids use music as a way to provide language for their emotions.
Talking about my feelings with my mother, I'm gonna just be quiet. In the back of my head, I'm like, man, this ain't it.
I'm going to talk to Howie about his feelings, make it into a song.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
Back here at Vaughn Stadium in Shakopee. Start of the fourth quarter. Myers gets the call on first down, and he's tackled for a loss. Owen Deedy, the defensive leader for this Shakopee team, again comes flying in off the corner and makes the stop. And meanwhile, you have an offensive lineman for the Bengals down on the ground and in some pain. We'll give you an update on some scores around the Metro while they tend to him. Minneapolis North all over St. Agnes 42-6. New London Spicer upset Piers 28-24. Hutchinson all over Faribault 38-12. St. Thomas Academy shutting out Hastings 21-0. Eden Prairie leading Lakeville North 14-10. How about this? Farmington 34, Minnetonka nothing. Maple Grove 28-7 over East Ridge. Woodbury on top of Rosemount 17-3. That Royals team is pretty good. They didn't play the strongest schedule admittedly during the season, but we saw them beat Centennial in the last regular season game. They're pretty good. Wayzata's 14-0 over Stillwater. This broadcaster thought that was a possibility tonight. Blaine trailing Shakopee here, obviously 20-10. Rogers 48-0 over Park Center and over crushing Elk River 42-18. Centennial and St. Michael Albertville in the game of the night right now, 28-24. And Dasso Colcado on top of Litchfield, 24-10. Meanwhile, for the Bengals, Brady Kernow being helped off the field, not able to put much weight on it, so on his leg. 2nd and 13 from the 34 now for the Bengals. Play fake on the screen, and a big collision as Cole Schmidt snags it and holds on. Good job of toughness by Schmidt on that little slant. It's a gainer down to the 28-yard line. So it makes it 3rd down and 7 after that pickup of 6. Call. Sets up the bubble screen right there. Schmidt makes the catch. He got first down yardage inside the 20 down to the 17. Move the chains for Blaine. Cole Schmidt, after catching it and taking a pop, bounces right back up, and they throw the bubble screen for 9 to the 17. Blaine inside the red zone for Shakopee again. Bengals need points on this possession, trailing by 10 with 10:52 left. Call for Myers. Myers a good gain of 5 down to the 13. Call it 4. Jacob Rood on the stop. Brings up 2nd and 6 from the 13 with 10:17 and counting to go in the game. Play fake to call, throwing and nearly intercepted again. Dangerous pass intended for Tinson Jenkins on the skinny post, and it was right in between a couple of Shakopee's defensive backs. So Bengals fortunate to get that one back. Call now 11 for 20 for 143 yards and an interception unofficially. 3rd and 6 from the 13. And you wonder if they'd settle for a field goal if they don't get this, but on 3rd down, the draw to Myers, and Shakopee reads it right away and drops him for a loss. Myers now, that's his 20th carry of the game, 87 yards and a touchdown tonight. And they will indeed trot on the field goal unit out of the hold of Joe Beckman. And it's going to be Kendall Stadden. Nope. It's going to be Schweiger who trots on to take this one, a 31-yarder from the left hash. Schweiger's already hit from 33 today. Have to get points on this possession. Snap back, kick on the way, and it is good. So Ryan Schweiger tacks on a 31-yard field goal. And the Bengals have had a couple drives stall out inside the red zone, but have gotten points on those drives at least. It's now 20-13 Sabres. Schweiger gets Blaine its first points of the second half on a 31-yard field goal. To make it 20-13 Shakopee and keep it a one-score game. But Shakopee has the perfect offense for if you have a lead, which they obviously do right now. So they'll get the ball back and just keep it on the ground with either Ross Jr. or Hellerud or Sandridge. We've even seen Jonathan Wamsley, a big running back, tall guy, senior. Sabres hands team is out there just in case an onside kick is attempted. Kendall Stadden out to attempt it, so wouldn't be surprised. And indeed it is an onside kick, but it doesn't go the requisite 10 yards, and Shakopee falls on it. Stadden had attempted an onside kick earlier this year, and it was a beauty, but ultimately she was on there as a decoy, and Schweiger kicked it but couldn't quite get it to 10 yards. Shakopee falls on it at the Blaine 47. So now Shakopee takes over 1st and 10 at the Blaine 47 with 9:22 to go and a 7-point lead. And we have not seen quarterback Leighton Kearns since midway through the second quarter. It's been just a power look with the Wildcat. Snap back to Ross Jr., inside handoff to Sandridge, and the little water bug of a running back gets it down to the 41, a gain of 6. Beckman and Ecker on the carry, or on the stop rather. Sandridge 4 for 46 and a touchdown now. Snap back to Hellerud. He follows his blockers, bounces it outside. He's tracked down from behind. Tackle made by Luke Studer, but moves the chains. That pickup of 6. 18 carries now for 94 yards and 2 scores for Hellerud. 1st and 10 Sabres. They're obviously in no hurry, leading by 7 with 8.5 minutes left. Direct snap actually to the big man up front. Ethan Vaughn takes it and plunges forward, scampering down to the 28. Even Ethan Vaughn getting 6 yards on the ground. I mean, it's a tricky offense. It's obviously a huge offensive line. You've essentially got almost 2 fullbacks in there at any given time. It's as much of a power formation as you'll see at the high school level. Ross, inside handoff to Sandridge. He loses his footing and loses a couple back to the 30. And it's interesting that they're snapping the football with 20 seconds left on the play clock, because they certainly could grind out more clock if they wanted to. Ball rests just inside the 30-yard line on 3rd and 6. Hellerud follows his blocker, sheds a tackle, falls forward for first down yardage down to the 23. An easy 7 yards on the 19th carry of the night. And with that, Hellerud goes over 100 yards. He's got 101 and 2 touchdowns. 2 of the 3, that's 2 tailbacks now for Shakopee with over 100 yards tonight. And this time a flag comes flying in. False start, most likely the call. First penalty of the second half. Just 2 penalties for 10 yards tonight for Shakopee, and they haven't turned the ball over either. So very clean game played by the Sabres, if not as dominant as they maybe had hoped. They're still in position to have a rematch with their conference rival Lakeville South, the team they lost to 30-22 in the 7th week of the season. Again, the little inside handoff. Blaine reads it well, though, and a great job by Jaden Grant and Henry Morris to swarm to the football and tackle the ball carrier at the 28. Got to be disciplined to play this kind of an offense. We're inside 6 minutes to go in the game. 2nd and 15 at the 28. They're saying short gain. I think that was no gain. But Shakopee doesn't mind this far down the field with the clock continuing to run. Direct snap to Wamsley. Great tackle out there. He breaks it, but they're able to rally to the football. Great job by Isaac Moyne to string out that play, and then it was cleaned up by Luke Studer and Morris. Jackson Braun in there as well, as Wamsley thrown for a loss of 4. Now you've got Ross Jr. coming back on the field. 3rd and 19, and you might almost be out of field goal range at this point. So big 3rd down here for Blaine. Trailing by a touchdown with time running out in the 4th. Back in there, pitching to Ross Jr. on the sweep to the near side. Beckman over there, and he breaks out of the tackle of Beckman, and he's going to go for the touchdown. A 32-yard touchdown run on 3rd down, and a back-breaking one at that for Blaine. I take that back. They knocked him out of bounds. The play wasn't blown dead. They knocked him out of bounds, and it's 4th down. So Beckman, it looked close, but it's hard to see from our angle. So make it 4th and 6 now from the 19-yard line. Great job by Joe Beckman to force him to the sideline and knock him out of play. Turn, play fake, back to throw, first pass of the game to the end zone, and it's incomplete. Blaine gets the turnover on downs that they needed, and they take over 1st and 10 at their own 19. First pass of the game, I should specify, from Leighton Kearns, as Kearns made a reappearance there in those last two, and after marching it right down to the red zone, Shakopee's drive stalls out. Now the Sabres have to go back on defense. Blaine takes over 1st and 10, trailing by a touchdown with 4:33 to go. Bengals hoping to keep their season alive and play at Lakeville South next week. Preston Myers on 1st down. Not much running room between the tackles. And we'll say it's no gain. Dede in there. Dede in there as well as Josh Megan. Bengals have all 3 of their timeouts. Call, rolling right, throwing down the seam. Tinson Jenkins hauls it in at the 50-yard line. A big pitch and catch of 31 yards down to the Shakopee 49-yard line. Callan Tinson Jenkins.
The call on coverage for the Sabres. It's a 1st down for
Bengals have it at the Shakopee 49-yard line. 3:45 and counting left to go. And now Shakopee wants to take a timeout. Sabres take a timeout to talk about things. Tinson Jenkins just split the defensive backs, and Call managed to find him right down the middle of the field, and he made a terrific stumbling catch right at midfield. A.J. Call now 12 of 21 for 174 yards through the air tonight. And for all Shakopee's second half dominance, the Bengals are marching with an opportunity to tie. They fumbled their first possession away in Shakopee, deep in their own territory. Then they threw an interception, but the last drive resulted in a field goal. And after that defense we talked about bending but not breaking, they have an opportunity here to get points. Bubble screen to Cole Schmidt. Positive yardage and more. Schmidt down for first down yardage inside the 44. Down to the 34, in fact. They've liked that bubble screen. It's been effective for them, and they picked up 16 on that play. Play call in this second half has been very effective. Give to Myers up the gut. Again, not much, maybe a yard or two down to the 32. Second and 8 from the 32-yard line. How big was that stop by Joe Beckman on third down to knock Chandler Ross Jr. out of play? Play fake to Myers. Call steps up, runs into his own offensive lineman, manages to spin down to the 26-yard line to set up a manageable third down. He bumped into his own lineman and spun off him and fell forward to the 26. 3rd and 2 now from the 26. They need to reach the Shakopee 24. And whistles come in offside, they're going to say, on Shakopee. And the flag is out back in the backfield. Wow. Bengals get another break. Penalty moves the ball to the Shakopee 21, and it's a first down and 10 for Blaine. So a critical penalty there for the Sabres on third down. Bengals with 2 minutes to go in the game. 1st and 10 from the Shakopee 21. Myers, and they lose the football. It's loose on the ground. I think A.J. Call has fallen on it. But the Bengals lose 9 yards by fumbling it on the quarterback running back exchange. They've got to hurry now. Minute 40 to go. 2nd and 20 from the 30-yard line. Call it 2nd and 19. A.J. Call looking right, throwing on the slant to Reynolds. A good pitch and catch down to the 17-yard line. So once again getting into the red zone with that pitch and catch. Tremaine Fulton Jr. making the tackle. The Bengals take a timeout. A.J. Call is at tonight now, 14 of 23, 202 yards through the air. Bengals face a 3rd down and 6 at the Shakopee 17. Obviously a field goal won't do. Trailing by a touchdown here, late 4th quarter. Bengals, after a 3rd quarter to forget, have regained their form in the first half in the 4th quarter here. And have played lights out, getting big defensive stops and moving the ball. The winner will move on to the state tournament and the quarterfinals next week at Stillwater. Call, play fake, pulls it down. They'll try to run for it. And he's spun down, he's submarine down about a half-yard short of the 1st down. Call hesitated looking for a receiver instead of just pulling it down. He eventually did run for it, but he was about a half-yard short. Bengals with 50 seconds left in the game. Myers up the gut. He's going to be short. Myers stopped short on 4th down. And the Bengals turn it over on downs with 44.2 seconds left in the game. They fall short at the 12-yard line, and it's a game of inches indeed. A.J. Call, submarine down just shy of the 1st down, and then the 4th down run with Myers stopped short. And now Shakopee takes over with the football at their own 12-yard line and under a minute to play. Bengals put a scare into them, there's no doubt, leading 10-7 at half. But the Sabres scored 2 touchdowns in the 3rd quarter, and that looks like it's going to be enough, holding Blaine to field goals on 3 of their drives in the red zone. On 2 of their 3 drives in the red zone. Shakopee decides to take a timeout to work things out. I think they just need to do the victory formation, although the Bengals do have 2 timeouts remaining, but ultimately, looks like Blaine's season will end at 5-5. Shakopee will improve to 8-2 and advance to play rival Lakeville South for the 2nd time this season at Stillwater this time. They gave Lakeville South as much of a scare as anybody in their first game. Shakopee lining up in victory formation after forcing the turnover on downs. Second of those tonight, so the Blaine turns it over on downs twice, and then in the third quarter fumbles it and throws an interception. So turned it over 4 times tonight. No punts from either team tonight. That's an interesting subplot from this game. And during this timeout, being informed by J.W. Cox that it's 35-31 Centennial, but STMA has just taken the ball back with 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Meanwhile here, the tackle is made, stops the clock with 36.6 seconds left. Blaine quickly takes a timeout. Updating the scores, St. Thomas Academy on top of Hastings 28-0. Eden Prairie 14-10 over Lakeville North. That's a final. Farmington 34-0 over Minnetonka, also a final. Maple Grove 35-7 over Eastridge. Woodbury 20-3 over Rosemount. That's a final. Wayzata 21-7 over Stillwater. Still in progress. Rogers rolled over Park Center 55-12. Centennial leading STMA 35-31 late. Meanwhile, a valiant effort by the Bengals. Looks like it's going to come up just short. Two teams congratulating each other. Shakopee hangs on at home, thwarting the upset effort by the Blaine Bengals tonight. They book themselves a date in the state quarterfinal against Lakeville South next week at Stillwater High School on the strength of a 20-13 win over Blaine tonight. Bengals get 2 field goals from Ryan Schweiger and 89 yards on 22 carries and a touchdown for Preston Myers. A.J. Call finishes 14 of 23 for 202 yards. He played well in his last game, but ultimately it would not quite be enough. The third quarter ultimately is the demise for the Blaine Bengals. Bengals put up a fight here tonight, certainly impressing the Shakopee faithful and giving the Sabres a scare, but ultimately the higher seed does prevail. Want to give special thanks to the person running our camera tonight. Emma did a fantastic job, as she has all season. Thank her for her work. Again, the final here from Vaughn Field in Shakopee. Shakopee ends the Bengals season 20-13 here in the Class 6A second round. Thanks for watching this presentation of the high school football playoffs on North Metro TV.